my comments about the unjustified killing of Mr. Scott in North Charleston, which you yourself condemned.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what I was saying. I said it feels like there is open season on black males in America. But what we have seen is a revelation, a cascade of black males being killed at the hands of law enforcement.
Can you name?
All right, a cascade of black males being killed. Well, if you want to call the handful or whatever a cascade, the courts have, you know, whether it's George Zimmerman, and we're joined now by Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson, president of Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny, Bond, Syndicated Radio Host, and of course it's bondinfo.org. Reverend, welcome back. And you know, whether it's Ferguson and Michael Brown, or whether it's New York, whether it's George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin, I mean, all those were adjudicated, you know. So even if you consider those three and some others a cascade or whatever he called it, it's very rare that a police officer, you know, is found guilty of hunting down a black man because he's black. And I don't believe, as reprehensible as this shooting in South Carolina was, we saw that the stop started with great respect. The officer had great respect for this person in the car. He treated him well. I don't know what happened. I'm not defending the man for what he did, shooting someone in the back like that. I don't know what the justification could be, but it's not like he woke up and said, I'm going to go shoot a black guy today.
That's right. And thanks for having me on, Steve. If there is a cascade on black people or black men, it's black on black crime, not white officers on blacks. There are more white people being killed by police officers than there are black people being killed by police officers. When I saw the video in South Carolina, when I first saw it, it was shocking. But then I calmed down and I realized there's something called due process. And I started to wonder what happened between the time the guy ran from his car and we saw the video. And so I think that the officer deserved, as we all do, due process. And I'm waiting for that to happen. And if you notice, Steve, most, if not all, most of these black thugs who are getting killed by cops are happening because they are not following the instructions of the officers. They're not doing what they asked them to do.
Well, Reverend, that's so important. And again, in this instance, I can't think of anything short of the man stealing the cop's taser or gun and running away with it. I can't think of anything that would have justified him shooting at him and not just chasing him down. So let's put this case aside. Yeah, but you're right. But you're right about and again, it's not an excuse. So nobody put words in our mouth. But if he didn't run, he wouldn't have been shot. Do you know? I mean, you know, I live in New York. Every one of these shootings, every one of these run-ins, every one of these incidents that occur, it's because someone resisted arrest or ran from a cop.
Absolutely. And there was another person in the car with the guy from South Carolina. That person stayed in the car, and that person is alive today, as far as I know. And another thing I realized is that why is it that black Americans are so upset, not all, but most, over these thugs who are being killed, but there is no killed by police officers, but they don't have the same outrage with black on black crime. Why don't they take cameras and go into the inner cities around the country and expose the gang members and other thugs who are killing and robbing and raping other black innocent people?
Reverend, we have an interview with J.C. Watts, former congressman from Oklahoma, coming up in this hour. I did that just before we went to air. And one of the things he's going to say is that the reason that blacks don't vote for Republicans, it's not the social issues. They agree with Republicans on the social issues. He called it the justice issue, which AKA cops.
Oh, that's and I love J.C. Watts, but that's ridiculous. The reason blacks are not voting for the Democratic Party is that the Democratic Party has managed for the last 50 years or so to spoil them, to take care of them, by giving them affirmative action, giving them governmental programs. And once you spoil someone, you control them. And also, the Democrats make blacks feel good about being wrong, whereas the Republican Party tends to want to encourage you to get up and do for yourself and become independent. But spoiled people do not want to become independent. And I also think, Steve, that if the Republicans were to go and have a communication with like a town hall meeting with blacks and let them express what they're thinking and then respond to the blacks, I think then we'll start to get more over into the Republican Party than what we have.
Yeah. All right. Reverend, always good to talk to you, sir. Thank you very, very much. And, folks, it's bondinfo.org. Great to talk to you, sir.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, folks. Well, we are coming back with that interview with former Congressman J.C. Watts. It's been a while since I chatted with him, and he, of course, is now one of the first supporters to come out in favor of Senator Rand Paul for president. So we'll talk to him about Rand Paul as well. It's all straight ahead on the Steve Malzberg Show.